I'm supposed to sound sexy.
You just sound tired.
Oh gosh. I had a request from one of our Instagram followers and she was like, could I request you to do a sexy version? And I guess it didn't quite work, Brian.
Well,
how am I supposed to do sexy?
I don't know. Maybe some people
Sexy.
find a tired woman sexy.
Well, oftentimes though, that kind of voice comes out late at night when you are tired.
This is true. A lot of late night radio is like very calm and sedate. And, it reminds me, there's this one, I don't want to get too specific, but there's this one radio person. I don't know her name. And she used to do quite a lot of radio and commercials and stuff. And she sounds congested all the time. But she has this very sort of sedate, kind of monotonic voice. And usually, or at least she used to do more of like nighttime broadcasts.
Okay.
But then not too long ago, I heard her doing like a daytime radio show.
Really?
And it sounded so weird to me because the voice itself is just, her
So
voice
nighttime.
is just so like low key and kind of mellow and chill. And it was like the middle of the day.
Did she do a music show?
Maybe. I don't remember what kind of show she did.
Well, because when you just mentioned that, I recall this person. I think she still does the music show. And it's when I listen to her, I'm amazed at how controlled her voice is. Because, my voice kind of goes, oh, well, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But hers is like, good afternoon, everyone. We've done and just that sort of tone is throughout the whole program.
Well, yeah.
Like she doesn't get excited.
It might be the same person because
I think we
it
might.
is that is kind of the style that she does. But the thing that drives me kind of crazy, and
What?
sorry for her fans out there, but it just sounds like she's congested to me. Like her nose is stuffy, and I just wish like she would blow her nose. And but I don't know what it is, but it's just she has a very nice voice.
But Brian, there are just certain people who have sort of a nasal type tone.
Well, yeah,
So-
obviously it's just her voice. That's
Yeah.
how she talks. But
Yeah.
to me, that's what it feels like, and so I can't help but think that all the time.
Well, and probably because there's no fluctuation in her voice, that's all you're thinking about is her nasalness.
Could be. It's just me, though. I'm sure a lot of people love her voice, and probably she's, I'm sure more people listen to her than listen to me. So, so I'm really not one to be talking.
So I'm going to plug my nose
Well,
and
no,
do
that's
it.
not a good
Okay,
idea.
that's not okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to that sort of voice and our show, it's just
Very
so
different.
very different, right? Okay. All right. It's Wednesday, everyone, and we have a biz dialogue for you. And the title is Cooperation Plus Competition. So in the business world, yes, there is a lot of competition, but then sometimes cooperation. I see a lot of this these days where there's a lot of collaboration. Brian. So like I see, for example, big clothing line stores collaborating with artists and doing a certain season's worth of clothing.
Yeah, this is true, and this has become kind of a trend. The word itself has become kind of, well, a form of the word has become popular here in Korea, which is collabo.
Collabo. Okay,
Collabo.
yes, collabo.
And so, yeah, you see it with different companies that oftentimes are seemingly very unrelated. So you might have, the Kanye West does his designs for a certain, clothing company, or a certain luxury brand does a line of clothes with a very sort of discount brand, or just things like that. So it's something we see quite a bit of these days.
All right, let's take a listen to our dialogue today.
Good morning. Would you happen to have a replacement blade for this blender?
We don't carry parts for that model ourselves, but I know for a fact that the shop across the street does.
Am I hearing things, or did you just recommend that I go to your competitor's store?
Sure, why not? He would do likewise. We're both firm believers in coopetition.
Well, that's refreshing. I have to say it does leave me with a bad taste in my mouth when I hear competing businesses backstab one another.
You've hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, we just want our customers to have positive experiences and to get what they want.
You've certainly earned my loyalty. I'm going to tell my friends about this place. Have a great day.
Okay, so we have a clerk and a customer having a conversation here. The customer starts off by saying, "Good morning. Would you happen to have a replacement blade for this blender?"
And the clerk says, "We don't carry parts for that model ourselves, but I know for a fact that the shop across the street does."
And the customer says, "Am I hearing things, or did you just recommend that I go to your competitor's store?"
Okay, so hearing things. Am I hearing things?
Yeah, when you say, "Am I hearing things?" or when you ask, "Am I hearing things?" or you tell someone that they're hearing things, it basically means that you are perceiving something that is in your imagination, or you're questioning whether you are. Essentially, it sounds like you have heard something that's incredible, something incredulous, something that you can't really believe. So you're double checking that you heard it correct.
So in this case, it's basically saying, "Did you say what I think you said?"
Yeah, it's basically like having an auditory hallucination. So you're sort of checking, or at least you're so surprised by something, you're saying, "Wow, is that really true? Is that correct? Did you tell me, did I hear the right thing?"
You know, speaking of hearing things, I recently read an article about Barbara Streisand and how she's had this condition since she was 7 years old, the sound in her ear. It's like a medical condition. And basically, she's been living with it for throughout her whole life. And now, as she's getting older, it's getting worse. So it's like she's really hearing things.
So what does she hear? I mean, does she hear like people talking or something?
Actually, no. Actually, it's not people
or just
talking.
Like a tone or
It's
something?
just a tone. It's a tone, and I guess it's getting louder and louder, and it makes it very difficult for her to sleep at night. Yeah, but that's a little different because when we say, "I think I'm hearing things," what does that imply?
Yeah, well, usually, almost always, it's when somebody is talking to you, and they've said something that is amazing, or something that you wouldn't expect, or it's just hard to believe, and so you're sort of checking again to see if they said what you thought they said. Now, there are some situations where maybe it's not necessarily a person talking. Say you have a pet dog.
Okay.
And you've had him for years and years, and then he passes away, sadly.
Oh.
And then after that, for a few months or something, you occasionally think you hear a barking or something.
Yeah.
But and so you're saying, "Oh, well, am I hearing things?" Because it sounded like I just heard my dog, but he's dead. So in that case, you could say, "I'm hearing things." It's not a person talking. Or maybe I go through these stages occasionally when I don't put my phone on vibrate at all anymore. But there was a period of time when I always had it in my pocket on vibrate.
Okay.
But then there would be times when I would feel like, and when it vibrates, you can hear it.
Right.
And I would think I heard a vibrating sound, or I would felt like something was vibrating in my pocket.
Yeah.
And I'd look, and it wasn't, and it hadn't rang or anything like that. And it was
freaky.
just like, so I was just hearing things. It was just my imagination.
I bet you are not the only person, Brian. All right, so then the clerk says, "Sure, why not?" So back to the dialogue, customer saying, "What, you just recommended me to go to a competitor store?" And the clerk says, "Sure, why not? He would do likewise. We're both firm believers in competition." Co-opetition, I'm sorry.
Co-opetition.
Yes, so that's a new word. So what can we assume here?
Well, this is obviously a compound word, not a word that's been around that long. So if you look at this word, you might, if you didn't know how to pronounce it, you might think competition.
Competition? Mm-hmm.
Competition? No, it's co-opetition because it's a combination of cooperation and competition.
Okay.
So, and that's exactly what it is. The definition is a combination of cooperation and competition. So essentially, it is people maybe who are normally competitors, like they have businesses that are in the same field, and they vie for the same customers, but they also work together in some ways. This happens sometimes if you go to like one of the big markets like Dongdaemun or the electronic market or something like that.
Yes.
And there are all these booths and they're kind of frenemies, you know. So they all know each other. They see each other every day. They probably eat at the same place every day.
Right.
And so they have to be civil usually. But then at the same time, they're in competition. But then there are sometimes when maybe you go to one of the booths and you ask for something that they just don't carry. So they might say, well, no, go try the booth, 3 doors down. They might have it. So it's co-opetition.
Co-opetition. Okay. So what does the customer say?
So the customer says, well, that's refreshing. I have to say it does leave me with a bad taste in my mouth when I hear competing businesses backstab one another.
Okay. So if something leaves, usually we use the verb leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, if something leaves a bad taste in your mouth, it basically just means that it gives you an uneasy feeling, usually after something. Now, when you say in a literal sense that something left a bad taste in your mouth, here's a classic example. Certain kinds of medicines, in particular, because most medicine, sort of Western medicines these days are pills, and they're coated and they're covered, and so they don't really have a taste necessarily.
Right.
But still, a lot of like hanyak, for example.
Yes.
It's powder or it's liquid, and it has a very strong taste.
Sure.
And so even after you drink it or eat it, the taste is still in your mouth.
Yes.
And that's what we call an aftertaste.
Okay.
And so basically what this aftertaste does is it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
So literally.
Yeah, so even after you've eaten it, this taste stays in your mouth for a little while. Now, in a more of a figurative sense, like we're using in this dialogue, it basically means that you still have negative feelings after you've experienced something. So it's just, for instance, you see something bad happen, and you could just forget about it and not think about it anymore. Or it could just keep stewing, and you keep thinking about it, and it keeps bothering you. So it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
So I think anytime you have a sort of uncomfortable, maybe sometimes even confrontational, but it's okay in the end, but still, even after you've left the place, you still have this bad taste in your mouth. You can't get rid of that memory or that experience.
This happens with people sometimes. Maybe there's someone you know, and even a friend or something like that, and then you have one bad experience with them.
Yeah.
And if it's bad enough,
Yeah.
even though you make up and things are settled, sometimes you still have a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, so it doesn't go away. All right, now, if you backstab someone, not nice, backstab.
Yeah, if you backstab someone, now this is like it sounds. You stab someone in the back. So if you think about this, well, usually who do we think of stabbing you in the back? It's usually like a friend, somebody you trust. So essentially, to backstab someone means to betray someone. You do something bad to someone who isn't expecting it. So if there's somebody that you don't trust, you don't turn around and show them your back. If you think that they're going to attack you or something like that, you don't show them your back. You don't turn around.
No.
But if you trust them and you're a friend and you think, oh, this person's not going to do anything bad to me, then you feel comfortable enough to turn around. And then when you're not looking, they stab you in the back.
Oh, that's the worst. One of the worst feelings.
Yeah, so this is, it can be used as a noun, a backstabber, as a person who does this sort of thing, betrays their friends. But yeah, so to backstab was, sometimes we hear the word backbite, backbiting. It's the same thing. But it just means that, people are saying bad things or doing bad things behind your back when you don't realize it.
And I'm sure we've all had like a friend or two.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody has
Knows.
had this sort of experience, and I'm sure most people at some point or another have actually done some backstabbing, maybe not on purpose, or maybe it's just a, bad time in your life or whatever. But, sometimes
it happens.
It happens. Yeah.
Okay. And the clerk says, you've hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, we just want our customers to have positive experiences and to get what they want. So, and I know our listeners have come across this expression, to hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, if you hit the nail on the head, it means that you get something exactly right. And it's just like when you're hammering nails, the top of the nail is called the head. And to drive it into the wood properly, you have to hit it in the right spot. So hit the nail on the head.
But of course, unlike Kristen, when she when she tries to put in a nail, she gets the fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, at the end of the day?
And at the end of the day, this just means when all is said and done, ultimately, finally.
Finally. All right. So let's go ahead and listen to our convo one more time.
Good morning. Would you happen to have a replacement blade for this blender?
We don't carry parts for that model ourselves, but I know for a fact that the shop across the street does.
Am I hearing things, or did you just recommend that I go to your competitor's store?
Sure, why not? He would do likewise. We're both firm believers in coopetition.
Well, that's refreshing. I have to say it does leave me with a bad taste in my mouth when I hear competing businesses backstab one another.
You've hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, we just want our customers to have positive experiences and to get what they want.
You've certainly earned my loyalty. I'm going to tell my friends about this place. Have a great day.
Okay, so it's time for us to take note now.
Okay, first expression, hear things.
Yeah, if you're hearing things, it basically means you're imagining certain sounds. You're having auditory hallucinations.
Am I hearing things or are the kids back home from school already? Okay, coopetition.
Coopetition basically means that people who are normally competitors are doing something together. They're cooperating. They're collaborating. When I first heard about coopetition, I thought it was a terrible idea.
A bad taste in one's mouth.
This is to have sort of lingering negative feelings about a bad experience.
I won't shop there because they did something that left a bad taste in my mouth. To backstab?
To backstab basically means to betray somebody, to do something or say something bad about somebody who essentially trusts you. I can't believe my best friend would backstab me that way.
Oh, hit the nail on the head.
This means to be exactly right about something.
That computer company's branding has hit the nail on the head. And finally, at the end of the day?
Yeah, at the end of the day is sort of like after everything has been said or done, ultimately, in the end. Here's a sentence for you. Whether or not your handwriting is perfect won't matter at the end of the day. Okay. And we had a quiz question yesterday, of course. We were talking about the person who delivered the speech that we talked about. Of course, the answer is Denzel Washington. And if you got the answer correct, you might win yourself a prize, a lovely prize. But before we get to that, of course, we want to give you another question for today. So today's question is this. We had the expression when you have some sort of a negative experience and you have these lingering bad feelings. So you have bad memories about something that happened in the past. Now, the expression was to have a bad taste in your blank. So I'll give you a couple of choices.
Okay,
what
two choices.
Fits into the blank? Is it number 1, mouth, or number 2, ear? Leaves a bad taste in your
really
blank.
hard. That's tough.
Okay. So is it number 1, mouth, or number 2, ear? If you know the answer, go to our homepage, put it up in the quiz answer folder. You might win yourself a prize. Of course, our sponsors are Universal Music, who gives away free music CDs to some of our lucky listeners. EBS 락에서 온라인 무료 수강권을, 한국 토익위원회에서 토익 스피킹 무료 응시권을, and the 중앙 Daily is giving away 구독권 to the New York Times. Time for us to say goodbye. Have a great day, everyone.
We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye.